Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Most Interesting Feminists and Award Show for March 11th, 2016. This week I'm going to try to mimic one of my favorite YouTubers, Modwain Allaron. He has what I call a Lord Vassal aesthetic and I find it quite humorous, so check out his channel and subscribe. In my opinion, one of the best ways we can fight feminism is to encourage anti-feminism content. Tildeer, Sargon, and the big anti-feminist channels aren't going to be able to win this information war on their own. But if we can flood YouTube with our message, with many, many voices, we can create a YouTube that holds feminism at bay. So please support the smaller channels. The large ones already have plenty of support. Subscribe to small channels. Check in on them from time to time. You don't have to watch every single episode, but check in on them from time to time, post some positive comments or some criticism so they can improve their content. But please be supportive of the many voices. All right, with that out of the way, let's start off by, let's go to the elder feminist. Maybe she has some wisdom to impart to us.
I'm on my period right now.
Well, I'm not quite sure what to say to that. Thank you, I guess. It does, after all, seem to be a fair warning that what comes next will be utterly incoherent.
And it really sucks. I hate it. It's painful, costs a lot of money to manage. It's just, there's nothing great about it. But what bugs me and a lot of other people is when periods are associated with womanhood.
That's an interesting concept. You are asking the populace, I take it, to not associate menstruation with womanhood. What possibly could be your grounds for this idea?
There's the 101 part. Not all women get periods, or have uteruses, or have ovaries. Some women don't have periods. Some men have periods.
What? Some men have periods? Forgive me, but that sounds batshit crazy. Surely you don't mean menstruation. I've never heard of such a thing. When men bleed from the genitalia, it's normally from a wound or perhaps a sexually transmitted disease. Perhaps. Certainly men don't bleed to refresh their womb, since they don't have a womb. So you must mean that men get bitchy from time to time, and that I will grant. Continue.
Some people who have no gender at all have periods. Some non-binary folk, trans folk, many different other kinds of identities, some of them have periods.
Oh, I think I see now. You are suggesting men are a gender and not just a sex, or something like that. Well, please, let's not be asinine here. If you are speaking about gender identity rather than sex, you should be more explicit because you confuse yourself with your own nonsense. You would be well advised to keep things sorted properly when addressing the populace.
But no, not every woman has a period.
Yes, of course not every woman has a period. You act like you're speaking to children. This is not a good way to address the public. It's rather condescending, and consider the source. That's coming from me. So yes, I'm sorry, but you make yourself look stupid that you don't recognize that this is known by virtually every adult.
We all should understand that gender, sex, not the same things. They're two completely different social constructions.
My dear, sex is not a social construction. This is science. It's in a field known as biology. Have you heard of this thing, biology? Look, I don't want to ridicule witches here in this court, but neither am I going to entertain mysticism. I don't make judgments based on nonsense. It's just one of my policies, you see. So I'm sorry, this is the last time you will be allowed to speak on your own behalf. If you have future issues, you will need to have an advocate or a spokesperson present those for you. But for this time, please continue.
So what gets me really, really angry is when I, a person who does have a period...
Yes, a person, but to be more precise, a woman...
goes to the store to buy some hygiene products. Of course, all it says is women's hygiene or feminine hygiene, and everything is gendered, so you can buy like pink tampons and pink pads. Like somehow these materials are just inherent to womanhood.
Your complaint, as I understand it, is that products that pertain to the woman's reproductive system is found in the woman's aisle at the grocery store. Well, I'm going to attribute that your complaint is being made under the duress of your period, because that's just fucking stupid. But once your period is over, and if you still don't like the feminine products being in the women's aisle, take your case to the shopkeeper. Please feel free to harass him or her. If you don't like his or her response, you can open up your own shop, and we'll let the market decide. You see, your issue has nothing to do with justice, and that's what we dispense here. So let's just call it a day here, shall we? And again, next time you will need to have an advocate state your case because, well, I just don't want to go down your rabbit holes. Thank you. Well, we're going to need to have a respite from lunacy, so let's hear what this week's Anti-Feminist has to proclaim.
One issue that I see with feminism is this rape culture, nonsense, whatever. They like to say that, we live in a rape culture and that men are taught to rape and women don't need to defend themselves. Men just need to be taught not to rape. And all I have to say about that is I went to a public school. I've been living in the city for a very long time. I've been working in childcare for 6 years, and I have never once heard anywhere around me from anyone that I've known, from anyone that I've ever known, that rape is acceptable. It is not. If you are surrounded by people that think that rape is okay, I suggest getting different friends. Rape is not a societal norm in the West. If you think that it is, well, you're mistaken. I'm sorry, but you don't live in a rape culture, so you don't understand that we do not live in a rape culture.
Also, once you do acquire new friends and your old friends, that thought rape is acceptable behavior, please bring that information to the attention of your local constable. This is probably enough information for your constable to open an investigation on said deviants. And perhaps an interview will follow with them and may help prevent tragedies going forward. You see, as Lady Sims suggests, this crime of rape is one of the most serious crimes. In fact, I would rate it as the fourth most heinous crime. First being murder, second being child molestation, third being torture and mutilation, and then fourth, rape. And I dare to say that in most districts, I am sure you will find your law enforcement agrees with me. Rape is so harshly punished because it is universally seen as a vile and heinous crime.
Here's the truth. There are a lot of people in this world, and there are a lot of people that do immoral actions. That is just the nature of living with 7 billion or however many humans on the earth, right? That's going to happen. Well, for now. Hopefully that will be changing. But my point is that you need to learn how to defend yourself. If you're scared about walking around at night, or if you are terrified every time that you see a man in public that he might attack you due to some prior experiences that you have had, I suggest to you, take a self-defense class. Get buff. Be a badass. Carry some weapons. I carry things with me to protect myself because I'm often out and about alone. And I'm not asking anyone else to make laws or to ban things or to, I need this much protection because I don't ever want to learn how to defend myself. And the fact that women, and especially feminists, are not encouraging other women to defend themselves is just a huge message saying hey, yeah, we're weak. We can't take care of ourselves, so we need someone else to do it for us. No, do it yourself. Protect yourself. That is your job. It is your very duty in life to stay alive. That is the entire point, right, of getting through every day, is to stay alive. So if you want to do that, I suggest that you take that matter into your own hands.
Yes, this is precisely correct. Women are equal to men and thus are obligated to defend themselves as a man would. And if you are of the belief that men are somehow stronger than women, you should arm yourself with a firearm, with a high-capacity magazine, because in the event you are struggling for your life, you will be very nervous and apt to miss your target. Be sure to consult with local experts as to when brandishing a firearm is appropriate. You simply cannot threaten people with it unless you have due cause within the jurisdiction that you do such an act. Also, you must make sure that you have the authority to conceal said weapon or to carry said weapon. This won't be available to you in regressive districts, to be sure, but most districts in America allow this. And be sure to train with your weapon. You will want to fire it every other month or so, just to make sure you're ready in the event of an emergency. Be safe, be wise.
Along the lines of being consistent, I have seen a lot in the feminist movement, them talking about this, saying yes, but I didn't really mean yes in my head because I was maybe a little bit scared, so I said yes, but I really meant no. So after this sexual act is done, I'm going to cry rape because I didn't really want to tell you how I felt, or whatever the situation is. And what I have to say to that is, say what you feel. It is not okay for me to ever join into any kind of voluntary act with someone and say, hey, I perfectly accept this exchange, whatever that might be, and then afterwards to say, you know what, just changed my mind, and so now I'm going to make your life a living hell because I just, couldn't say what I felt, or I didn't really want to at the time, or maybe I was drunk, or maybe I was high on something, and I don't feel that way anymore. But that to me, no matter if you're man, woman, or whatever gender, that to me is a sign of a crazy person, is someone that says something and does something else, or someone that says and does something and then later takes it back. If you want to people to respect you and for people to take you seriously, you have to be...
Oh, I'm so sorry that I cut you off there. Yes, you should be consistent. If you're not consistent in your thoughts, you're not worthy of respect. That's certainly true. Although I will say that much of the populace is so stupid nowadays that they don't understand consistency from their ass from a hole in the ground. That being said, it was marvelous to hear from you. You have eradicated the headache that I obtained from our previous presentation. Thank you very much, Lady Sims. It is my sincere hope that the populace in attendance will go to your channel, watch your entire video, and then subscribe to your channel. Good luck. Oh, what an absolute treat that was. But it's my understanding that there is yet work to be done. So let us take on our last petitioner for the day.
Hey, it's Cheyenne. Today I'm going to be talking about feminism and just, basically what it is. how I feel about it. That's basically it.
Well, you need to have a issue that you want me to resolve, whereas I'm perfectly willing to have people with common sense make announcements here. I generally just don't give a blank platform to fools.
So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the misconceptions of what it means to be a feminist, because a lot of people seem to think that it means that you hate men or...
No one is fooled by this nonsense. Of course it means you hate men. Or at least masculinity, or as you say, toxic masculinity. You just don't want to admit it. So if you're not going to state your issue, we will go ahead and close out court now.
Also, yes, I live in America. I am privileged because I live here. I understand that. But that doesn't change the fact that there are struggles that women go through here, just being a woman. And it may not be as bad as how people are treated in different countries, and I understand that. But, just because someone has it worse doesn't mean that you can't have problems also.
Well, that's what we're here for, is to help you with your issue. Please, out with your important issue. There's no need to delay or check your privilege before the populace. Just out with it.
So one thing that a lot of people think feminism is about is just people, women specifically, being able to dress how they want to, like a slut or a whore, or being able to walk around with their tops off, which, in my opinion, I think women should be able to do that. I personally wouldn't, but if someone else wants to, why should I stop them just because I wouldn't want to, I feel that way about a lot of things. And so, that's not all it is. And even though it may not be a big part of it, or as important as other things, I think it is, but whatever.
So your big issue that you wanted, pardon the pun, to get off your chest was you think women should be able to go around topless. Well, there's a couple of problems with that. The first being is if I let women do it, then I'm going to get a bunch of ugly man-bears running around the neighborhood in Speedos with their junk pressed up against the silk, as it were, and I don't want to see that. Moreover, you feminists cannot even abide a man looking at you. I can't imagine the complaints I will get once we have man-bears and Speedos stalking the neighborhood. So I decline to change the law on that basis alone. But further, I don't want to see lady junk either. Now, I may want to ogle the occasional hot babe from time to time, but I don't want to be looking at fat all day. So, no, we're not going to have this. I don't care if it's an equality issue. I don't care if it destroys civilization. I am not going to subject myself and my populace to such an atrocious depiction of human flabbery. So you can fuck right off. Be gone. Well, that was so much better than digging a well for the populace that might be low on fresh water somewhere. I mean, we could have had a constructive conversation about that, but dismissing nonsense is so much easier. Don't you agree?
seem to lose control. I'm free to decide, I threw my life in the hole. No see much you regret, I never see you again. But I've no more respect, please just leave me here